So we are talking about presentation skills. In terms of talking presentation skills, we can get into the physical presentation, in terms of business presentation, in terms of your financial plan presentation, in terms of your financial progress presentation, revenue progress presentation, or in terms of your annual plan presentation or annual review. Annual review is always the review of the last year. Annual plan is the plan that you're going to execute for the next year. So whatever the presentation is, it's a formal presentation that you're talking to, like I told you, for the stakeholders, most of the time for your leadership team, maybe the board of directors. So whoever that you're going to do the presentation, ladies and gentlemen, we always have to follow these 4 steps. You have to do your planning, preparation, practice, and present. If you do not do your planning right, if you do not prepare, if you do not practice, if you do not present, you are not going to do a good presentation. So let's see, under each of these areas, planning, prepare, practice, and present, what are the things that you need to be very vigilant or be very careful or be very attentive in terms of having an effective presentation. So when it comes to planning, it's always that you need to know your audience. We saw that, I showed you some videos about it, why you should know your audience, why you need to align your presentation to the audience requirement. Otherwise, it will not be receptive to them. So number 2, why are they here? So like I told you, WIFIM, what's in it for me? If I don't know WIFIM, my presentation will be not aligned to the requirements of the audience. So I'm talking from the business perspective. This applies even to a presentation, we'll say a teaching, a lesson or a lecture. So similar. What do they need? I should know what the students want, and if I don't know that, my presentation will not be aligned to the audience. And what is your goal? Goal meaning what? What do I expect from this presentation? My expectation, if it is a business plan presentation, my expectation is to get the business plan approved, to convince the audience to approve my business plan. Or if it is a business review or a last year progress review of what I have as a department head, what I have done in order to achieve the organization objective. So my goal is what? To convince my audience that I have done my job, done my role, and to make them happy. So obviously what do you do? Why do you do your presentation? To make your audience happy. So whatever the criteria or whatever the context, you need to have a goal in your presentation. How long will it be? Because you need to know that if it is a long presentation, people will be get bored to listen to it. Like in certain countries, you are listening to the budget plan, and the person who is presenting the budget also is not physically stable, and just imagine how the listeners will feel like. So it's not the way to do a official formal presentation. Depending on the presentation objective, depending on the topic that you're going to talk, you have to limit your timing. And like we earlier said, time management is very crucial. You have to start at the right time and finish at the right time. And where will it take place? You need to know that where it's going to take place, because it may be an open content or open environment, or it may be a closed environment, whether it's noisy. So you need to look at all these things prior to your presentation. You need to know what are the technologies you are going to use, whether you need mics, whether you are going to want speakers, whether you are going to have sounds, whether you are going to have videos played. So all that you need to do your planning. So for effective presentation in terms of preparation, we always need to remember what is the structure of my presentation. The structure meaning what is the story behind my presentation, whether I have given a content page and am I taking the audience step by step, number 1, point number 2, point number 3, am I using proper prompts meaning whether the proper bullet points or highlighting the areas that the people or the audience should know, whether I'm using visual aids, maybe sometimes pictures, maybe videos, maybe some materials to support. Even the PPT is a visual aid. Whether I'm using some visual aids to support the audience to understand clearly what I am presenting. How am I make my voice variance? How do I manage my voice? I told you about the appearance, very crucial. Whether you have dressed up to the audience, because like I told you, you have to have decent enough, or you have to present yourself in a way that it is aligned to the brand that you are representing. Always you remember that. Sometimes we ignore this. I think we ignore this, but we have to always remember your appearance matters. And the style of your presentation, style meaning whether you are going to have a very rigid presentation, whether you are going to control your audience, or you are giving the freedom to audience. You invite the audience to speak up, you invite the audience to come out with their questions, the clarifications, whether you interact with them, or else you say, the audience here, look here, I'm going to do this presentation for next 1 hour, don't talk anything, just listen to me, and after 1 hour we'll have a question and answer session. Till 1 hour nothing, no talking. So then what audience has to do? Only listening. So that how interactive it will be? No, it will be zero interactive. So you have to make sure that you create a style of your presentation where the audience will be very participative in your presentation and ready for questions. We discussed earlier also, you always have to be prepared for the probable questions. And talking about the structure, we need to know that the flow, the objectives, how do you introduce yourself, how do you introduce your presentation, what you're going to talk about, what are the content, what are your topics, how do you summarize your presentation, what is the conclusion statement, what are your recommendations, or what are your observations. If it is a review, last year review, the observations and the recommendation for next year. As a professional, financial professional or management professional, you should highlight the audience, or you should make sure that audience get all those information through your presentation. If that is not, like I told you earlier, they will the audience or the board of directors or the leadership of the organization will not be very happy, receptive about your presentation, and in long run they will consider you are not suitable for the higher levels in the organization. So talking about structuring your presentation, it will be always not only a physical presentation, it will not be a business presentation. එහෙම නැති වුණා අපිටම ඔයගලගේ assignment එකක් කියලා assignment presentation එකක් කරලා assignment එකට අදාළව කරන presentation එකක්. අපි කියනවානේ assignment එකක් තියෙන ඊට පස්සේ assignment එක present කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් assignment එකම ලියනවා. අපි දිනනවා case study එකක්, අපි ඒ case එකට assignment එක ලියනවා. මේ හැම වෙලාවෙදිම මෙන්න මේ ICC කියන මොඩල් එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන්න. ලියා ගන්නවා නම් ICC. ඒ කියන්නේ introduction, content, conclusion. මේ වගේ අපි ස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරගත්තාම අපේ assignment එක presentation එක ස්ටයිල් එකකට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිම confuse වෙනවා. අපි මොන කාරණාව කොන point එකේද ලියන්නේ කියලා. But if you have that ICC model, it will be very easier to structure your presentation, maybe an assignment or a physical presentation. So in that ICC is nothing other than introduction, the main theme or main content, and the summary and the conclusion. So ICC, introduction, content and the conclusion. So all these things will help to grab the attention of the audience, and your content can be developed to the requirement of the audience or to the case or to the assignment, and then you can conclude with a very specific key message. Key message is nothing other than your recommendation, your observation, what that people or the audience should take away. So if you have this particular structuring methodology, you should be able to have a very effective presentation. So in terms of preparation of visual aids, which is very, very crucial. Sometimes I see presentation have certain pictures which are not relevant. Humpty Dumpty pictures, cartoon characters and all that, just to make the slide, they think that they can make the slide beautiful by having some pictures. No, you can't do that. Even color combinations, the color, you can't have that, multicolored slides and all that. So you have to have a certain theme in your presentation. Color matching, you have to mix certain colors which the audience will not be disturbed by looking at your extraordinary color combinations and the pictures that you are using. So visual aid has to be very, very careful. So always in terms of a business presentation, certain companies have their company slide decks. So you have to do on those. Otherwise, black and white slide is ideal to stop any distractions from your extraordinary effects and the animations and the pictures and the colors. So always use simple fonts, your simple colors, even the graphs. You have to be very clearly have the graphs. Otherwise, you can have a graph, but nobody can understand the graphs. It has no meaning. And the images, the clip arts that you can use to highlight, like prompts like we discussed earlier, of the points that you're talking. And don't go for extraordinary number of bullets in a presentation. You can manage that within 6 by 6 is the rule. Like you can have 6 words in a line and you can have 6 bullets points. So 6 bullets. So 6 by 6 is a norm that I'm just saying. You can have little lesser than that. If you want to make it 6 by 7, go for it. But don't make it 6 by 12, 6 by 15 and all that, where your fonts will be very small. The audience will not be able to even read your visual aids. So don't overcrowd your slides. Always manage your content in a very powerful points basis. And also you have to keep the audience awake. So you might have to use certain different visual aids to keep the people attractive or interactive with you in your presentation. So visual aids is one of the key tool that you can keep your audience with you throughout the presentation. So for an example, storytelling. So storytelling is also another technique that you can use to keep your audience interactive, because they like to hear the stories. So when it comes to stories, that means that your flow of your presentation should take the audience through a story. Kathaවක් කියනවා වගේ in order to end ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒ storytelling context එකේදී you should be able to have some clear visuals for them to understand the story that you are saying. If you have some complicated pie charts, graphs, line charts, where the audience will have a difficulty in understanding your story versus visual aid, your story is not very strong. But if you have a very clear, understandable information on your visual aids to in line with your story, they will be very much receptive to the audience, and it will be very effective presentation. Effective presentation, appearance, very, very crucial. What you dress, if you are a guy, how you have your tie, how you match your color. I think you will have a different session on personal grooming. You have to have your shirt, long sleeves, cufflinks, your wristwatch matters. Your shaving, how you appear yourself, your shoes, matching your shoes to your dress, how you have matched your belt to your shoe to the trouser. You can't have brown shoes and black belt and blue trouser. You can't have multicolored things. You have to have a certain standard in your belt, shirt, and the tie and the shoes and yourself. So you know that when you wear well, you feel confident. That is what even the undergarments companies like Tramp and all that are marketing. When you have your good undergarments, you feel confident. So that's true. That's not that's a fact. So likewise, when you are well dressed up, you feel confident. So you look confident, you feel confident, so that your presentation becomes more effective. So that is why the marketers have taken this particular thing as a marketing tool to make you confident. Even if you wear a good banyan, you feel confident. If you wear a particular brand of shirt, the pen that you are using, the brand of pen and all that creates or add value to you in terms of your confidence level.